Hello, hello, hello. And today is not a combo guide, a tier list. Play this character, or me trying to influence you into the ways of Videl. What we are doing is a series of case studies on all characters of Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and as I just said earlier, we are covering Gohan's waifu, mother of Pan, one of the strongest humans in the world, Videl. Now, the type of character Videl is at a glance. If you're not getting mixed up, you are not using Videl. This character has an array of moves. Not only does she have Saiyaman with her as well to give her coverage, and a multitude of moves covering every angle of the screen. She's a character with many tools. She's like a little fox. So if you like these characters who have so many tools, Videl, then Videl's for you. Now, as always in these case studies, we like to talk about zones, just to keep it really grounded. Also, shout outs to this BGM, is one of my favorites in the whole game, more tournament stage, retro. Anyway, it's talk about in zones, so you have up close, mid-range, and far. That's what you're going to hear me talk about in these case studies. I'm going to go through the buttons on the floor and in the air, supers, specials, before we move on to win conditions and the game plan. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, Videl is a cool character because up close, her 5L. Let's take this off. Her 5L actually is an advancing 5L. So this character can really pile on the pressure, especially with her 5L. She keeps going forward. She can't chain her 5L. Her 2L she can, and as you saw there, that's a low hitting 2L, that's -4. So if these combined, sometimes this will whiff. This was here. It's really good for Videl for confirming. Videl's 5LL is only -4. So again, this pushes her forward. So she can indefinitely, unless your opponent challenges, indefinitely carry on a string. Her 5M is -8. Her 2M is -10. She can do 5M, 4M, kind of like Cell. So this is very easy to confirm. So she's able to do stuff like this. Her 5H hits nearly mid-range. That being -8. If you look at the distance it pushes you at, most characters can't punish. Obviously, a lot of characters 5Ms can. So your opponent has to be really smart about that. Her 2H, one of the fastest 2Hs at being at 13 frames. So really great angle of a 2H there. And one of her unique buttons is obviously her 6H. Now a cool thing about this 6H is it's invulnerable to key blasts. So this is really good to throw out, and obviously the mid-range. So when you're in the mid-range here, it's a very good move to kind of close in the gap versus certain characters. Now that's on the ground, so let's go in the air. In the air, she's obviously jump L. Her jump 2H. Her cross up JM has an okay angle. It's not the best for crossing up, but it does work. It does the business. So you gotta do. It doesn't work from tap, maybe from like around this distance. So yes, you have to kind of choose your spots with that. Now before we go into supers, I think there's anything else I got to show. Nah, I think that's everything. Now supers, Videl has a few at level 1. Say no. So you can actually follow up, and if you're really good with it, you can summon Gohan. Let's do it again, and she can even get a DR. So she's pretty cool. At her level 1, there's got quite a lot of versatility. This level 1 as well. Anything that's non-projectile, so pretty much everything in the game except for projectile. So this is a counter. So as you see, it's one of the fastest in the game, and then he dances on your head. So then Gohan obviously dances on your head as well, so that's really good, a reversal move for her. Her level 3. Summon Saiyaman to give you the beatdown. standard level 3 that pushes the opponent close to the corner. She doesn't actually have a reflect. So most characters, if we go to Android 17, most characters or nearly all characters in Dragon Ball FighterZ have the reflect motion. So they have this motion, which pushes the move back. However, for Videl, Videl has this kind of dodge. And on a successful dodge, Videl is actually able to can punish the opponent. See there? See, she's able to punish there. So this is actually has this unique purposes of dodging unique situations. Such as if some opponent does a beam on the ground, Videl can quickly punish. Or in some situations, so you just gotta really play around with it. Specials as well, Videl has 2-2. Wait, wrong button. Gotta go through them. 2-3-6 L. Videl also has an array of moves. If you do 2-2-M, Videl does straight this cross up kick pass immediately. So here Videl can really mix up the opponent. And into getting a knockdown, so that's 2-2-S. 2-2-L as well. So Videl can do 2-2-L. So combine this with some block strings, Videl can do an array of stuff to the opponent. So as you saw there, she can really mix up the opponent there. That's using the 2-2 motions. 2-2H is just a faster version for them. So you do 2-2, there we go. 2-6L does this grab that only hits them when they're standing. 2-6H, 2-1-4 as well, sorry. You get a unique follow-up. Now you saw that ender, that's 2-6L. If he does 2-6L, she does an overhead, so if his opponent is crouching, the opponent has to stand there. Now if your opponent doesn't stand, what happens is Videl goes into this motion here. And she can continue her combo. So as you see there. So your opponent really has to be on the ball facing Videl. As you see there, so you have to really be on the ball. So an array of options that you're seeing here from this character. What have I forgotten? I feel like oh yeah, yes, of course. So let's go through Videl's S options. So Videl's 2-1-4S is her involve move. So this is good to get the opponent off you. So as we said, she doesn't have a reflect, but she has quite a few involve moves like this. Videl also has great Sailman. So you press S, she does a projectile going forward. This is really strong because your opponent is a true string. So this allows Videl to get in from really far ranges. And the unique properties of this is really helpful for Videl facing in this situation. So right here, you saw versus Goku. If you're really preemptive, one more time. If you're really preemptive, you see that there? It will beat the crap out of Goku throwing out fireballs. Even if it's the same time, see that there? It is a bit on the slow end, so do watch out for that. So do watch out for that when you are using it. Videl also has, in the jump, she has 6S in the air, which gives Gohan that angle. 2S in the air as well. And on the ground, she has 2S of Gohan as well. This gives her nice little ball for entry for her. And just to show you as well, I'll put on Super Dash. That is a projectile. So your opponent is able to, not projectile, sorry, that's a beam, not a beam, sorry. It is a projectile, sorry. So your opponent is able to, wrong language. your opponent is able to super dash for it. So that's kind of just like the key blasts that we see used by Goku. So if I get Videl record, quickly show you that now. But as you saw there, it can stuff him out. See, it trades with that, so just be wary of using that. But if Videl use this early, nice and early, you can still be ready to kind of punish the opponent there. Now Videl has, like I said, she has an array of specials. But anyway, we can spend so much time talking about specials and all the cool, neat things that Videl can do. But let's go delve deep into her win conditions and game plan. Now, we spoke about Videl. We spoke about how she has all these specials. Now, the first thing that comes to mind when we think of a kind of a win condition for Videl, she's a mixing pot. So one of her biggest win conditions is quite simply just being up close with an assist ready. Now, the reason why we say that is in combined with her 2-2-S, she's able to actually get confirms from really far out. Many characters aren't able to get these. Like here, if you look at with the Kefla assist. Let me see if I got this. She's able to get these confirmed from really far out, even with 2-2. And if your opponent decides to block, however, to not move and just to block. Oh, it's not on blocks, my bad. If your opponent decides to block, they might have resigned to death. So, because here, because she keeps a dash option. Don't know why I'm not doing it now. See here, she gets to keep her dash option. So she can mix up here between going high and going low versus the opponent. So they really have to be really on the ball versus Videl in these situations. There with Goku. See here with Goku, they gotta really be on the ball for there. So she's such a mix-up heavy character here. If they have to block high, otherwise they're gonna get hit here. You can really mix up your opponent, grab them before the assist comes. There's so much stuff she's got going on here. Just choosing this the correct option to mix up his opponent is what you're looking for. Now, two things she's kind of looking for in a partner are really simple. Videl from the mid-range, aside from using this button here, she doesn't really have an approach tool aside from 236L. So characters that allow her to liberally use this 236L either as entry or use it as block stun, and she really enjoys as partners. So right here, if we have a Kefla, here my opponent has to really be ready for this. So this angle over here. So we combine the ability to reflect. Let's do this again. See if I can do this. So here you see the opponent can reflect here. If I'm able to do this, let's see if I can do it. To Goku. Nope, doesn't look like it's working with Goku. But however, that's for entry. So entry doesn't look like it's working. Let's try it again with Goku. Different timing. Nope. So Goku looks like you have to call the assist a bit earlier before you can get in. And here Videl can really work on her mix-ups right after, where your opponent has to really be wary. So probably call the assist before 236L, and then she can probably get in there. So assists that allow her probably entry from the mid-range, because here she has to work on this. So assists that are helpful there, especially with this. She can use her 5H into this, into there. So these are the things that I'm kind of looking for. Assists that allow her entry and the ability to also mix up between this. So because once she's in, she has options that are going to beat reflect. She has options that will beat if the opponent is mashing. Did you see there? So even though Kefla's allowed me in, you see there? That's all true. Right there, I beat Kefla pressing a button. So even though my opponent is trying to be preemptive, you see there that Videl has an option for that. See, here she reflected, so now if I do it again, I can wait. So Videl, anyone that allows her block shot or entry here, or the ability to mix up between 256L, H, 256L, L, 256L into nothing, 256L into nothing, beat out the reflect. So let me get someone to reflect instead. Just again. See, like there, she has so many options to kind of beat out, reflect, and all these options. So using the assist properly. And another thing that she kind of looks for in assists is the ability from full screen to confirm from 5S. So Videl, this is really strong because her 5S beats most projectiles on the ground. This is a really strong tool. So you see with Kefla, see without super dash, get Kefla. Oh, let's try this one more time. Woo, there we go. Whoa, it looks like Kefla worked there. Let's try it again. So as you saw there, she's very strong full screen with the 5S. So extension from the 5S. Let's see with Goku Super Saiyan. You probably could do into switch your tag to another assist, or some type of re-jump. Who knows? If you're really a madman, probably some type of re-jump, or not a lot of damage, but she's able to confirm. So it's just to allow her to do those simple things, because up close herself with an assist ready, she has a multitude of options. So we saw with Goku for entry, he really helpful for Videl, of using the ability to use this, the ability to use to get in with an assist, to be able to mix up between getting in or using this here to mix up. So Goku was really helpful using her 2 physics L and all the options she has from there. Kefla as well. Kefla was also very helpful in giving her these options. So these are the kind of assists that you're looking at, almost for extensions. Now let's try their B assists. Now Goku's one works in the mid-range, but it's kind of the same as, and you see that how plus it is plus 40. So this is going to be really strong for Videl. If Videl uses this, if Videl uses here your opponent really has to block all of that pressure. So if we kind of go and reflect, let's try and make this work, shall we? Oh, that is a lot of plus. That is a hell of a lot of plus. See here, so you can really set up situations where your opponent is able to, where your opponent really has to guess. So Videl can do that with Goku. This really does help her get in. This is really a good assist. Instead of her doing her -8 option, she can use Goku's assist to be plus 40. 5S extensions probably not so much, because I don't think Goku reaches that far. Let's try right now. Yeah, it doesn't reach that far. So with 5S, Goku probably wouldn't help there. But for block stun, entry, it's a fantastic assist. Kefla as well. Fantastic assist for her for getting entry once she is in. So if we get see, fantastic assist for entry for her. So probably might have to do it a bit earlier than Goku, so if we have reflect on. Yeah, probably a bit earlier than Goku. See here, she's able to get a type of mix-up situation there. So that's something your opponent really has to kind of guess there if they're going to reflect, if they're going to do something or not. So it's something to think about when you pick the B assist. So, but full screen Kefla definitely not helping with here. Now let's go into C assists. Now C assists will probably be very helpful to Videl, mainly because, ooh, it doesn't look like it's helpful there. Let's try Goku's. So it looks like Videl's very C assists are really helpful with Videl, especially if you hit. Let's see if we hit this one. Probably not 2S for Gohan, just because we hit at the same time. But we saw with 5S, is very helpful to help with Videl getting that full screen conversion. Now entry, obviously with C assists, definitely, because this C assist on block. If you look at Goku's C assist on block, that's plus 50. So for someone like Videl, she has way more than enough time. More than enough time to really mix up the opponent with kind of that high-low option, or being able to do these options. So C assist, obviously Goku's C assist is really helpful. Let's see Kefla's C assist. We saw Kefla's C assist full screen wasn't really that helpful. Let's see if it's helpful with the block stun and entry. So her assist is, how plus is that? Plus 25, and it's variable. And it's got a gap, so it doesn't look like that's really helpful for her for getting in, because she really wants solid assists like Goku's plus 50, plus 40, plus 35. Those are kind of assists that she's looking for to really get these mix-ups, these really potent mix-ups working. But she can get her 256 LL, 256 LM, really make the opponent guess, or even the H. Now let's look at the assists on the other side. We have Videl with Android 17, so full screen. 17 is definitely not helping with with conversions there. However, entry with 17, because he does have a barrier, that is pretty helpful to Videl. So Videl can kind of hide the 256L approach with 17, and 17 being really plus is really helpful towards her. So especially if she's doing 256L and you're -8. So if you put on opponent mashing, do it straight right now. Or we gotta probably do it a bit earlier. Today your opponent can't mash. God damn you, 17. Doesn't look like 17's barrier works up in time. Probably gotta do it really, really early. Try it one more time. Nope. Zannen. Doesn't look like it works from the mid range. Doesn't look like it helps for entry. Now 21. Let's work with 21. 21 5S full screen definitely works. I don't even have to check this one, but we're gonna check anyway. Yep, so 21 full screen easily gives her a confirm. I say easily and I miss it. See there? And in the corner, obviously, she can terrorize you with all types of mix-ups there with Gohan. So in the corner, Videl is pretty potent, so I didn't show that before. But once she has you in the corner, Videl is able to do stuff like she can do cool Gohan into dash high, cool Gohan assist dash low. So this is really good for kind of using the opponent on their wake up to really mix them up. Now we've talked about all these win conditions and game plans, all the beautiful things Videl does, but what about fighting against Videl? Seems that up close she's a monster and it's really hard to defend against her, right? Now, without an assist, kind of in the far range, her 5S grounded approach is limited. So, except for using this is pretty slow. Her 5S is slow, and her other options, this Gohan stump and this one, are actually pretty slow. So, if you're facing a savvy opponent who's here and they're just doing this on the ground, for Videl, I was not playing. There we go. Let me record this again. For Videl, this is a nightmare. Unless she has this, unless she's already done her 5S beforehand, this is a nightmare for Videl to face. So outside of the grounded 5S, if she's in the air, this might be a good situation. But if she's in the air, except for this, Videl doesn't have anything else there. So your opponent, while they're moving around and conversing space, and Videl is anywhere on the ground, they're more liberal to kind of press. If it was 21, for instance, doing stuff like this. See, like here, if you face someone like 21, doing beams like this, it's really hard for Videl to approach. So if you're playing someone like 21, that's something that can really keep her honest while she's in the air, because she does have really overpowering moves like Gohan that automatically homes to wherever the opponent is. And most importantly, her solo mix-ups and her options are not the most damaging. So what I mean by that is, if Videl does manage to hit you, with this, she's not really going to kill you by herself. If Videl hits you with this, you're not going to die. If Videl does her grab, if you look at the damage, the risk and reward isn't really there, and especially facing against Videl. Even just using her 236L outside of using this 236L outside of with an assist, your opponent is actually able to, you see here, they can actually import 1H and block. Now this is helpful for one reason. So if someone's able to do this to Videl, your opponent can actually escape the situation. With some characters, even punish. So if you do that again. So without an assist, there's a bit of risk and reward with her mix-ups, and if she does those 236 all by itself, it's -8. So this is something Videl has to be very wary of when she's mixing up by herself. With the correct defensive options, by herself, it's really hard for her to kind of safely incorporate mix-ups. She has to use a lot of the 22L, 22M, just for the cross-ups, the quick cross-ups. She has to use a lot of those. Now let's go back to character select screen before we get deep into Videl. Now with Videl, we spoke about how kind of her win condition, she's a mixing pot. So her win conditions are really just being up close with an assist ready. As long as she has an assist and you are blocking, you're in her realm. With the correct assist usage and the correct assist blocks done, we saw it was possible. We saw with Goku's A assist and Kefla's A assist, she really enjoys being able to get entry with her 236L. We saw with the 6H as well, goes through 5S's. We saw that she enjoys entry and being able to use assists with blocks done. So she used a 236L to kind of gain entry as a great horizontal move, and then she uses those assists for their blocks done. So we saw Goku A and Kefla A, they were okay, but Goku's B assist was really strong, and Kefla's B assist was really helpful in using her options after 236L, or even just using 236L to just gain in, and then she's able to mix up with 22L, 22M. So this is something that Videl can do. We saw with 5S extensions how Goku's A assist and Kefla's A assist were really helpful, but their B assist not so much. But we saw with both of their C assists how they were really helpful, not only for entry and for block stun, but we saw Goku's especially was helpful for Kefla's being +50. So that's something Videl was really looking at. Now fighting against Videl, we briefly talked about without assist at far range, aside from 5S grounded, her approach is limited. Because her 5S is pretty slow. She has to be really preemptive, and her other options, that sort of Great Saiyaman jump to S, aren't really the most damaging. So the opponent can take those hits, and her 6S in the air, the diagonal Great Saiyaman. Those options, if you face someone like obviously Android 21, S Broly, Cooler, they can actually snipe her in the air. So being in the air is actually a disadvantage for Videl. So she's very powerful on the ground. And then lastly we talked about her solo mix-ups and her options. They're not the most damaging. So risk and reward, while you're hitting your opponent for 2000 damage, your opponent can use, we showed there with defensive option, using that 1H during when she's doing 236L. Your opponent is able to, if she is solo, is able to kind of punish these options. So she has to kind of use those 2-2L options to really mix up the opponent. But even then, if the opponent is really ready, they can punish you. But yeah, I hope this helped. If you liked it, please leave a like. Leave a comment as well. Like as always, we want to create these videos to really just go through characters and not just follow opinions, but really see what a character's strong at, like we've seen with Videl and with strong blocks on assists, and how we can help them benefit us and obviously benefit the characters and our playstyles. But I'll see you in the next video. Peace.